Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. And this video is going to be very different, not only because I'm adding a different category to this channel, and it's going to be the economic perspective of immigrants and what we should be aware of, because I think it's very important. But also this video is going to be a more relaxed video, not talking about the educational system and its disadvantages towards immigrants. Now, where I'm recording the video, it's very warm, so I'm about to sweat almost every couple minutes. So please excuse me if you see my shirt is getting a little sweaty or I have sweat literally drop down from my face. But the main subject of this video is this guy. We have Doggy in the house. She is my beautiful pit bull and Rottweiler mixed puppy. She's only 9 months old, but she's huge, and she's an amazing being, really. And dogs is one of those factors that a lot of people want to get or adopt because they believe that it is a very important factor in the American culture. And of course, us coming to this country, we want to get involved as much as we can with the culture. So I thought I would go over everything about the ownershiping of a dog, from the economic perspective of it, the expenses that goes with it, from the emotional perspective of it, and what would I do now that I have a dog if I have to go down this path again. So this is not a financial advice, but this is really me talking about my experiences and what I've learned. This is more towards an educational perspective, like any other videos that I have put out. So if immigrants are going down this path and don't have much experience, at least they have this source that kind of educate them, right? Okay. So let's talk about it. And she's off the frame. Sorry, she's doing her own thing. So I will have more pictures and shots from her, including towards the end of the video. So if you're curious about how she looks beautiful. Please wait until the end of this video or watch the whole video, and you will find out more about her. And if there is a lot of inquiries about her, we will include her more in our videos. All right, so let's talk about the economic perspective of it. One of the reasons that I didn't want to have a dog, it was just because the economic factor of it, because I literally just graduated from an undergrad and got a job, and there's still a lot of things that I have to pay for, not talking about the student loan and paying that back, but talking about the different things that now I have a job I want to contribute to, especially when it comes to, the family expenses and the house chores and stuff that my house or our home needs. And she's trying to play around with the door. And that's why I didn't want to take on the responsibility, and I was very scared, and nobody in our family has a dog. So that was one of those factors, but I ended up purchasing a dog, which is kind of an abnormal route that I went because majority of Americans adopt a dog. I ended up purchasing a dog from a breeder because she's a kind of a rare mix and she's beautiful. And it was really a trade deal. So I had something valuable, as valuable as something that basically the dealer was asking for. And they contacted me saying if I want a dog or if I want a puppy, because she was 2 weeks old when I got her. And I said yes, or accepted the offer, and the deal happened. But again, the economic perspective of it was very important for me, and it was one of those factors that always pushed me back from owning a dog. So let's talk about the expenses that exist, some of those that are occurring every month or monthly expenses versus some of those that you're paying for it once and you're done with it. Obviously, if you're adopting a dog, it will be different from purchasing a dog, so just keep that in mind. I will go over the differences. But if you're purchasing a dog, obviously you have the purchase values. In my case, it was about $550. Which was under the market. If you're curious, I'm always about the deals, and that's why we have this economic section added to our channel. So $550 for the or the dog's purchase or the puppy purchase price right? So in my case was 550, and then you need to take care of the shots or the vaccine. So it really depends if the breeder has to take care of that or not. If not, you need to take care of at least 2 rounds based on what I was told. So the first round was about $79 with a discount code, and then the second round was $170. So let's say about $300 for the shots or for the vaccines, and then you come out to things like the crate, the leash, the collar. And the leash and the collar, it's not going to be that expensive, especially, I mean, really it depends which route you're trying to go with. If you're trying to go with something more fancy or stronger, then you have to pay more for it. But what I did is that I just looked at the reviews, and I found a collar and a leash deal on Amazon for $9. It has a lock, and it has been holding up for the past 9 months. And you have to consider that my dog is on a larger side, so if she has been okay with it, perhaps you will be okay with it too, or majority of dog owners. So about $10 for the leash and the collar, but I have also seen the cheaper version on Dollar Tree, which comes out to like $2.50 with tax $3, let's say. So that's not really an expensive portion, and it's something that you have to pay for it once. Even if it breaks the next time, it will be around the same amount, unless you're trying to go with the fancy one and pay $40 to $60. Now, we're talking about the crate, especially if you're adopting or getting a puppy. It's very important, especially when it comes to the potty training. If she hasn't been trained, which in my case she wasn't, and it was a headache, you definitely need a crate. Even if she's trained, majority of dog owners that I know would rather have a crate. Especially if they're leaving for work or something like that, they need to leave the dog alone. They would rather the dog be in the crate safe than, wandering around in the house. So the crate, it really depends on the materials you're going for. There are usually like 2 types of crates. The one that has 1 door and the other one that has 2 doors. The 2-door one is usually easier to clean up. Then the crate material differs, like some are much stronger, then you have to pay for it, of course, for that material. Some are nicer, like there's one that is a desk, and etc. So the crate, and of course how big it is, depending on how big your dog is going to be, of course you have to pay more money for it the bigger it is. So in my case, I picked something with regards to my dog size, and with regards to everything that has been advised on internet, and mine was like about 180, and it's a single door. I didn't really care about that. And so that's one of those expenses that I paid that I'm very happy for, again, because it really helped me to train my dog. And it's one of those things that you have to pay for it once, and after that you kind of have it. Now, if you're traveling, you have to buy a specific crate for it, which are more expensive because there's only a couple companies that build them. So that will be an extra value that I've never paid for, but I've seen the used one go for $75 to $100. Of course, if you want to buy a new, double that price. Now, let's talk about a very important section, which is the food. And in my opinion, I always thought that food will be the cheapest one, because we just buy a dry food and then give it to the dog for 2 to 3 months. It will last, and it's not that big of an expense. However, from what I know now, having a dog and talking to different dog owners, because in my community a lot of people have dogs, and thankfully they're very friendly. And so when I talk to them, majority of them, 99%, they're mixing the dry food with some sort of wet food, or if you're going the traditional way and giving them uncooked meat or something raw, then you have to even spend more money, which is one of those occurring charges that is monthly. Now, another category that is very important, and people have different opinions about it, is the insurance and having your dog's checkup. So obviously you need to have a very good vet, because majority of them want to rip you off. And when it comes to that, some people have purchased now she's curious about something. Majority of people do not purchase insurance, and some do. And those who have these checkups, the checkups usually cost about $50 to $80, or it can be higher depending on where you go to, or if it's emergency or not. But this is what I've been told. I've never had the opportunity to take my dog for a checkup other than the vaccines, which was kind of normal and average. And then people, depending on the age of the dog or how old or how young it is, decide to if they want to pay for the insurance or they don't want to. She's reacting to a sound that she heard from outside, so it's completely normal. Don't worry about it. So yeah, the insurance is a very controversial topic. Some people are very much for it because they're like, you're paying all this amount, like $40 to $70 a month, and it's on that very emergency moment that something happens, another dog bites your dog or something happens to your dog. That's when you need the insurance, and that's when it comes handy, and it will cover 80% of your expenses that you've paid for, or 60%. Right? So it's absolutely worth it. Other people are saying if your dog is young, why would you bother and go with it? So my dog currently doesn't have an insurance because, again, I'm just a student. I'm studying for the LSAT to take it and go to law school. So I'm not in a position that will be able to kind of have these extra expenses, but it is something that long term, and when I become a lawyer, I absolutely want to invest in, because again, it's just one of those moments that when it hits you, you have to go with it. Like, if your dog is breathing internally or something is happening, what do you want to do? You just want to let it die? You have to take care of it. And when you take them to the emergency room, from people that I've heard, they just asking for arms and legs. So why not pay that and then have that peace of mind? And on top of that, you get a lot of like free visits with your insurance, especially if you're aiming for a top premium. So that will be beneficial to your dog, because obviously having these checkups, it will tell about your dog's health, and you can be aware of those factors, which can help you preventing from getting to that stage that you have to spend a lot of money on your dog. Now, that's the economic side of it. Obviously, it's very important, and that's why we created this video and added this category to the channel. But there's also an emotional factor of it. And honestly, again, dealing with the whole headache of potty training my dog, dealing with all the expenses, especially as a student, as someone who's not making that much money yet, it was rough. It was very difficult learning all these stuff about the dog ownership. But now I would say the emotional perspective of it really sets it off. I mean, I've heard in all of my health science classes that those people who have dogs or are into plants or have younger kids, they tend to have a better psychological level in compared to average Americans. And it's absolutely true, because this thing just loves you to death, basically. And never backs up. And unlike other people and majority of people that we have interaction nowadays, it doesn't have the politics of treating you good one day because it is asking you for something the next day. It's an animal. It really loves you. And that is just hard to find nowadays in the society and with everything that is going on. So that's one of those factors that, especially if you're living alone, especially if you have a tougher schedule, especially if you have multiple things going on in your life that are stressful, it is very important to have it, and it sets it off. Now, if I want to do it again, what would I do if I wanted to, have a dog? First, I will adopt it, not purchase it. And one of the main factors is obviously the positive aspect of it. You're helping something, you're helping a dog, and it's a good cause. And then the second factor is that you are not responsible for a lot of the trainings. The training can be costly if you hire a trainer. The training can be time consuming, and it really can be a headache. So why not getting those things done when they have the position of the dog, and it can really help you down the road, you know? And then the third factor is that majority of these dogs, they have been checked up. They have had a lot of routine, monitorings with different vets. And so they have these shots taken care of. So you're saving another $300. And they have like all these lists of the performance of the dog that you can get in advance or when you're adopting a dog, which really sets you off and gives you that peace of mind. So if I have to go with a dog again, it will definitely be adopting a dog rather than purchasing a dog, unless I'm really after a specific breed, which nowadays majority of these places that basically allows you to adopt a dog will have different options, or even have like can basically look up that specific breed that you're looking for in their system and have them delivered to their branch. So yeah, definitely I will go with it. Again, the emotional perspective of it really sets off all the economic aspect of it, and I will definitely recommend it. And on top of that, if we're talking about it from an immigrant perspective, it has been a fantastic point of getting me closer and connected to Americans, especially those who have dogs. And there are Asian Americans or Black Americans, there are white Americans, anything. It's just a different community, and I have been enjoying it very much. Very much. So I hope this video has been helpful to you, and I will have more economic aspect of different things in America for you guys coming out, because as immigrants, it's better to be educated than to go down these defaults and learn it one by one yourself. Hope you enjoy your day whenever you're watching this, and please come back to this channel. Thank you very much for your time, and peace.